And now this message is for all women like me, not those who love and support women like me. I have a Sunday storytime message, and I just want to start by saying, sometimes, I know y'all heard sometimes God's rejection is your protection. And one thing that I've had to learn through my experiences is that, when you put your trust in God and He's ahead of your life for real, like the stuff that you're going through, things that you lose, I say that, things that you lose or you might want to happen that don't end up happening, it is all divinely led. It is divinely led. It's divinely purposed for you. You don't know what you don't know, and you also don't know what you need, even though you know what you want. And a lot of times, like the stuff that we want, God knows what you need. So I'm feeling led to share a little story insight about my love life journey. I know that romantic relationships is one of those things, and people's love life and what they want for their love life is one of those things that we're in constant tug of war with the Lord about. As far as who's gonna have control over what happens, who it happened with, and how it happened, and all of that stuff. So I also understand like the climate today's dating and people's relationship journeys and all that stuff, and how tough it can be, and how draining it can be, and how hopeless one can become, and sadly enough, how people end up settling for so much less than what the Lord intends for them. I just want to be the one to encourage you to stick it through and not fall for that okie doke, because it can, one of the most, if not the most important decisions you can make in your whole life is who you settle down and build a family with. And even if y'all don't even raise up a family with children, that whole settling down with a person and committing to them in that stable home life relationship is a huge decision, and it can influence many factors of your life, many other decisions of your life, and most of all, it can influence your emotional and mental health. It can influence where your soul end up. Y'all like really chew on that for a minute. It can dramatically influence your quality of life. It just can. Imagine coming home and being miserable for 45 years. Imagine coming home to somebody who won't help you take care of your health once you get to that point of life. Like, well, you always in a point of life where you could use a hand in taking care of yourself. Like, that's love. People who love you give you hands and stuff like that. So what I'm saying is, but just imagine being in that state where it's like, okay, but no, like I physically can't take care of myself and I'm dependent on my spouse to do it. What kind of spouse you got affects that. What kind of spouse you got affects your money flow. What kind of spouse you got affects how your children are reared. What kind of spouse, like, anyway, again, this whole rejection, protection thing is real. So, I've been proposed to 3 times. I've actually gotten engaged twice, but I've only been married once. The first time I got proposed to, I was 20 years old, and I was, okay, so like, just know, every time like I done got to this point where the relationship has grown to a point where either of us is thinking about marriage, like just even thinking about it, whether I accept the proposal or not, whether I kept the proposal, the engagement or not, like we were both at a point where it was like, this is serious. Like we felt like we found our person. So like, yeah, emotions were that deep. The connections and bonds were that strong. So as a 20-year-old, I just knew. I'm gonna say this too. You can't live for other people. I don't care who the other person is. You cannot live for other people. So like as a 20-year-old, I'm still a child. Like my frontal lobe ain't done development. I'm still a child. I still think like a child, even though the world legally will say and treat me like I'm an adult. But I still heavily dependent on my parents and their guidance and their thoughts and their decisions and their opinions and all of that. I'm not there no more. I'm a whole grown woman, so I don't depend on my parents to make decisions for me anymore. But as a 20-year-old, no, they were highly considered. Whenever this man proposed to me, I was just like, I can't do it. I love you. I mean, I loved him. Like, if anybody was to ask me, whether I believed in soulmates and whether I thought that I found one. Like, he was my answer to that. Even after we broke up, I still felt like that was my soulmate for years. And so like, that's how much I would have liked to be married to him, as far as my feelings were concerned. But it wasn't it. He wasn't it. It's a ship that has sailed, of course. But, you know, my point here is, I mean, it was even down to feeling like it was love at first sight. And it was my soulmate. It's like we fell in love so fast. Anyway, he meant that much to me, and I still rejected his proposal. We stayed together because, you know, whatever. But, yeah, moving along. The next time I got proposed to, I was 23. And I accepted this proposal. So we were engaged for a couple of months. And I ended up giving the ring back. Because we were hiding the fact that we were engaged. I couldn't tell my parents. And I'm at the point, it's like, we weren't going to tell my parents until the time was right. You know, until we felt like they would look at us and agree that we were ready to take that step. We knew on paper we were not ready to take any steps. But our feelings, like, we had been together for a while, and then, like, our feelings said that it's time to be more serious. It's time to take to this next step. It's time to be more stable with what we have and start taking steps towards our future, which we believe that meant that the next step is to engage and be able to, you know, make that commitment holistically that we're on our way to the altar to get married. Well, okay, we never made it. We never made it to that altar. I gave the ring back, and in his mind, he expressed to me that he, you know, that's tricky. We stayed together, and we still, you know, in our heads felt like we would get married, but that can be a ego crush to somebody. I'm never going to propose to anybody, and I can never feel like I know what that feels like. But I know what kind of pressure, I can imagine what kind of pressure that can feel like, putting yourself out there for somebody, for something so serious, a serious commitment, and them saying yes, and then them saying no. Like, I'm sure that just like I said, he expressed some things to me about it, but also, like, I've heard some men say that they would never propose to the woman again, even if they stay together. Like, you already know that I want to marry you, but whether, like, you rejected my proposal, like, I'm not going to propose again. The woman would have to, you know, take that next step forward when she's ready, because, like, who going to be trying to play guessing games and trying to be rejected again? Like, I get it. So, but anyway, things fell apart, so we never even made it to that. But me looking back in retrospect, baby darling, a bullet was dodged. And this man, in his mind, felt like he would do anything for me. He really did. But, our traumas and things that we refuse to heal from will manifest. Even if it don't happen immediately, it's going to come out if you don't do work and heal from it. And if you don't have a person that's equipped to love you through these things and assist you healing, because I believe in that. I don't believe that people have to come to each other completely healed. I do believe that people have to understand what they need to heal from and be making that progress towards it. Because what is a completely healed person? We're not talking about a wound like on your body. We're talking about things that happen internally and spiritually to you. So how can you measure? There are some things that's just like, no, you cannot. What measuring stick or tool do you use to determine this person has completely healed from this psychological wound? Like, you can't. And then there will be things or occurrences that trigger people that are on their healing journeys and things like that. But I do believe that the person that needs to be healed from something, which is all of us, has to be on board with their healing journey and intentional and actively participating in that healing. So yeah, that's what I believe. And I believe that when you're with somebody, the right person, the person that, because God knows all your wounds too. So if you put it in his hand and you're with that, God has put you together with a particular person, that person is going to be equipped to soothe your soul, help you figure out how to fill in those gaps, be a voice of reason for you in a time when you trigger. Like, he's going to make a person that fits you. And everyone has deficits. So that person is going to be equipped to be able to deal with those deficits in a way that does not pull from them. I said equipped. It's going to be something that they have to give. It's not going to be something that's going to pull from them and leave them depleted. And I feel like with me trying to deal with that person, it was pulling from me because I wasn't equipped. What he needed wasn't stuff that I had to give. To help him along. And also understand that there are traumas and things that happen during your relationships and marriages that cause wounds. So the ideology that people have to come to you completely healed, like that whole completely whole person, like, what is that? We become re-traumatized by different things throughout our whole life journey. And sometimes it's a joint thing. Think about miscarriages and deaths, like where both partners become wounded by something that happened to them, but they're different people, so they're not going to need the same things to heal through those things. Like, healing is very individual. Trauma is very individual, and it happens the entire time that you're here on this earth. Again, I think it's the understanding and wanting to take those steps and be an active participant in your healing, and understanding that you need help and you can call on help, and understanding that you are here of service to help other people. And I think that's what we need to understand, and that helps us to be able to be in healthy relation with other people. I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, because people like to put all that emphasis on romantic relationships. Any relationship requires for you to be at a place of being healthy, not whole, not healed, because those are things that continuously happen over time. You fill your cup back up at a whole cup continuously. And if we understand, using a cup analogy, if you sit a cup out little by little, it'll evaporate. Your cup will not just stay full. So things have to continuously be pouring into you. It is part of the journey. But yeah, that is something to understand in any relationship, in order for the two people to have a healthy dynamic with each other. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So we were not well suited for each other. We just weren't. And so it ended. But again, this was somebody that I thought I was going to live my life with. I wanted to. But looking back in retrospect, with my clear retrospect vision, like we always have, like most of us have, when we can take accountability for things, that just would have been something to blow up in both of our faces. I believe in therapy when I'm talking about trying to be a healthy version to be able to contribute to a relationship. A lot of times therapy helps. That is one of those things, like one of those tools, resources. But when I was trying to, in this particular case, when I was trying to get therapy in, that talk about getting therapy involved, that person rejected it. So, again, you have to be an active participant in your healing. So that just wasn't gonna work, and it wasn't supposed to work, no matter how much either of us wanted it to. So then, when I was 32, the next time I got engaged, and then I got married. So this one actually made it to the altar when I was 34. That sound about right? Yeah. I'm gonna say that's right. So some of my other videos have talked about that, what happened with my marriage and everything. So by the time I was 37, something not right. My timelines are off. Okay, 37. So I was 33 when I got married at 33. And by the time I was 37, I'm divorced at 37. I got divorced at 37. So, So, it took me all of that. All of this. Oh, this is so serious. This is the one. To, oh, that wasn't the one. This is the one. Oh, no, that wasn't the one. This is the one for real. Oh no, that wasn't the one. For me to finally let God, to finally be like, here you go. I'm not doing something right, God. I became wise enough, bumping my head enough. Bump your head enough, you eventually become wise enough to know that you don't have it. I ain't got it, God. I ain't got it. Take it. Take this from me. And the Lord took it from me. And it wasn't until then that I started learning what I needed to learn to be a wife. So I started learning what I needed to start learning about being a wife during the season of my divorce, which is crazy. But, as life will happen like that sometimes. It takes that tension sometimes for you to start grabbing and gathering lessons. So figuring out of what's going on, why is it going wrong, how can I stop it from going wrong. These are things that I should have learned, and I thought I had it all together. But again, this is somebody I picked. The Lord knew the whole time that it was going to fall apart. The Lord knew the whole time that this wasn't the person that he wanted me to be with. But because I didn't know that, I thought that, this was right. I was equipped, and whatever I wasn't equipped for, God would fill in my gaps, and we would work through things. Well, that wasn't the case, because what I thought was true wasn't even true. No. So through my season of singleness, I really started learning, how to be a wife for the man that God wanted me to be with. And what I started realizing, honestly, was that there have been things in my past. There have been things from my childhood. Lessons that I didn't know were lessons. The way that I am. The things that I hold value to. The parts of my character and personality. These little things have been implanted in me the whole time. That was setting me up to be the woman that is already made special for the man that God wants me to be with. I think that is simply amazing. I didn't already know or think any of this. This is all just stuff that God revealed to me later. How I'm that groove in that puzzle that fills in the spot that he needs to be filled in for us to fit together, and how he's going to be the same thing for me. So, when I tell you the Lord is amazing, this is why I just stand firm on, you gotta trust him. You gotta trust him with everything. And you especially have to trust him with your love life. Y'all are going to know the goodness of God through this story for sure. That's what it's all about. He's going to get the glory. After, all of these dead ends, it's going to be one that's not a dead end, because I'm waiting on God, and I'm letting him do whatever work is still left in me. Those things that I still need, I'm letting God do that work in me during my single season. And I'm not sour about it. I'm not, tripping, none of that. I know what he promised me, and I can hear what he's telling me. I can hear the confirmations that he's giving me, the revelations that he's giving me, what type of spouse that he's been telling me about. I can hear all of that. And most of all, I can hear him telling me, this is what you need to get out of you. You can't bring this. You can't. I'm trusting you with him, just like I'm trusting him with you. So whatever works that need to be done are going to be done in both of you, so that y'all don't mess this up. And I hear that. So I'm accepting that. There's works that I have to get done for God, and jointly with my spouse, we're going to do works for God. And that's what happens when you put God in the front. He's going to allow for your life to be the testimony. And I'm glad that my actual, my person, my forever person, is going to be a result of the hand of God, not a result of something that I chose myself. Because I'm honored to be able to do that. And so I'm just encouraging you, if you're in that spot where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of being lonely, I'm so tired of this being my story, always remember, through anything, if you put it in God's hands, it is in the right hands. And though understanding about divine timing and things don't happen when you want it to, it's very hard and difficult to have to digest and work through. It's true, and it's always worth it. I don't know anybody who said they've waited on God for something and then been upset about what they got. It's always gonna be better than what you thought that you was gonna want. That's all I got.